Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's video we'll be discussing whether or not Liverpool can win consecutive Premier League titles. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It is very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. Okay, we've recently just hit 122 subscribers. I can't believe it. Like I said in the previous video, the number gets better every single time and I can't believe it. It's absolutely amazing so far. All the support on my, all the likes, the comments, all the support on social media as well. It's absolutely fantastic. And I can't thank you guys enough. But anyways, let's just get straight into the video, shall we? This video is very similar to the one we did with Sunderland a few days ago, where we're looking at Liverpool's most recent signings in the transfer window. I'm pretty sure they've signed 6 players in total, but we're going to look at the 4 marquee signings they've made and Hugo Ekitike, who they're heavily rumoured with, and by the time we're recording, it's probably already been announced, who knows, because it's very much agreed at this point in time, at least anyway. So let's kick off with the first player they signed in the transfer window, which was Jeremy Frimpong from Bayern Leverkusen for roughly around, I want to say, £40 million. And what an absolutely fantastic signing for that right back position. He's the perfect replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold in the sense that he's got like fantastic attacking ability, obviously driving forward with the ball, getting into the box, scoring goals as well, making assists for the attackers, the midfielders and all that sort of stuff. Now for me, I don't know how good he is defensively, just because in the Bundesliga he was playing for one of the best teams in Bayern Leverkusen. So now when he's coming to Liverpool, of course, they're going to have so much possession, they're going to be on the front foot every single time. But I'm just worried, when you're playing against one of those top 6 opposition, whether that's the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, someone like that, will Jeremy Frimpong get a counter-attacked? Who knows? Will they sort of target that sort of area of his game to potentially one of the wingers counter-attack him and sort of make progress into attacking third, that sort of way? We just don't know. That's a little bit of worry for both fullbacks have signed in this transfer window, because they've obviously signed Kirkes as well, and that's one thing I'm a little bit worried about, where will the centre-backs and will the CDMs and the midfielders have to cover those positions just because of how attacking these fullbacks are. They're very attacking minded, aren't they? They're not very defensive minded in that sort of outlook. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not, you know, Jeremy Frimpong can sort of adapt to the league. I'm pretty sure that Jeremy Frimpong has got everything in his locker that will mean he'll easily adapt to that Arnie slot system. There's nothing there that sort of worries me, except from potentially getting counter-attacked 1 or 2 times in the game, where hopefully one of the centre-backs or the midfielders can cover him. We have to wait and see. Obviously, Jordan Henderson did that a few times for Trent Alexander-Arnold a few seasons ago now, so maybe you might have to get somebody else in there. Whether that's someone like Graven Birch, maybe he can cover Jeremy Frimpong, we don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that is our first player on the list, Jeremy Frimpong. Absolutely fantastic signing. I'm so excited to be watching him in the Premier League, because he was one of the best right backs in the Bundesliga. Now, the second player on this list is Miles Kirkes. Hopefully I've said that right. Obviously, the left back from Bournemouth. Now, I feel like this is a little bit more of a guaranteed signing, because we've seen what he's capable of for the last 2 seasons now. So even though he's very attacking going forward, and he is basically the left-sided Frimpong in that sort of attacking sense, you know, he gets loads of assists, he gets a few goals here and there as well. We just don't know whether he's going to get counter-attacked as well. So for me, it is about whether or not these 2 players can sort of, you know, maybe one can sit deep when the other one's going forward. Maybe one of the midfielders can cover both positions as well, like I previously just said in the Jeremy Frimpong section. We just don't know what that will be, because I just feel like I feel like getting counter-attacked is probably one area that other teams, the opposition's teams, can sort of look at and sort of try and break down Liverpool's defence, if you might like. But then you've got to get through Van Dijk, you've got to get through Konate, you've got to get through Joe Gomez, all these types of centre-backs, you know what I mean? But either way, even though these full-backs are very attacking, I feel like, you know, Liverpool have got enough defensive cover in there to sort of help them out and, you know, make sure that Liverpool sort of don't concede any goals and whatnot. Anyways, okay, moving over now to the third player on this list, and he already signed last season, I'm pretty sure, is the Georgian goalkeeper. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. Georgi Mandashvili. Hopefully I've said that right. I definitely haven't. I just know I haven't already. I know I've butchered his name, and I do really apologise for that, but it's a very hard name to say. Okay, leave me alone. Okay, obviously the Georgian goalkeeper signed from Valencia in the La Liga last season, I'm pretty sure, and he spent another season out on loan there. So this is his first official season in the Premier League. Now for me, he's going to be battling it out against Alisson, obviously. Alisson Becker, one of the fantastic goalkeepers in the Premier League in the most recent history. Okay, in the last I want to say 5 to 8 years. Ever since that he signed under Klopp, he's been one of the best goalkeepers in the league, top 3 goalkeepers. And for me, it's going to be very difficult for the Georgian goalkeeper to come in and sort of overtake Alisson to begin with. So we might actually see an Arsenal situation where, you know, Aaron Ramsdale was sort of competing with David Raya, and then obviously Aaron Ramsdale had to leave the club because he just couldn't keep up with sort of David Raya's good form. But we don't know whether Georgie, we're not going to pronounce his surname, can sort of, you know, compete with Alisson or not. I feel like he's got the credentials, he's got everything there to be a fantastic number 1 for Liverpool in the future. He is brilliant, but in the short term this season, we just don't know whether or not he can become that first number 1 goalkeeper or not. I feel like Alisson definitely has that edge over him at the moment, so we just have to wait and see. I feel like give it, I want to say 2 or 3 more years, he definitely will be the starting number 1 goalkeeper because he's fantastic. He was fantastic in the league. He's been fantastic for Valencia for a good 3 or 4 years now. And he definitely does deserve his move to the Premier League. I just don't know. I can't really see him getting that much game time, unless it's obviously the cup competitions, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League maybe. We just don't know. Okay, moving over now to the 4th player on this list. Okay, the most expensive signing of the season so far, Florian Wirtz. Okay, obviously Liverpool have signed him for 134 million. And that is the most expensive signing in the whole Premier League history, okay? Now, for me, Florian Wirtz is a player with high potential. Florian Wirtz was linked to some of the biggest teams in the world, and Liverpool have got the signature over the line this season. I really do feel like he will transform that Liverpool side and keep everything ticking through him. He was one of the most exciting attacking midfielders in the Bundesliga. And he's been doing that for a good 3 or 4 years now. Ever since he broke through that Bayern Leverkusen side, he has been fantastic. There's no denying that. He gets goals, he gets assists. I feel like for me, probably is more of a assister. He probably is more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. Don't get me wrong, he can score goals as well. I feel like that's an area of his game where he needs a little bit more improvement, his sort of goal scoring. I could be wrong. I haven't really watched him that much, but from you know, his YouTube compilations and all this sort of stuff, I have seen a few more assists in there. And, you know, what he's done with Germany at times as well has been okay. Probably could be a little bit better for his national side. But again, he's still a young player and he can still develop into the Premier League. Again, for me, you know, Liverpool have signed a lot of players from the Bundesliga this season. Obviously, they've signed 2 so far and they've been linked with Hugo Ekitike. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not these players from the Bundesliga can transform their form into the Premier League or not, which don't know. You know, there's been multiple cases where players from the Bundesliga have not really done that great in the Premier League, but then you can sort of argue, you know, every player that has done bad, there's always a player that's done good as well. So it's a bit of a weird one when you speak about these transfers into new leagues and whatnot. But for me, Florian Wirtz, I feel like he's going to play in that one of those number 8 roles. It probably will take over Dominic Szoboszlai's sort of position, and he'll probably be sitting on the bench. Yeah, and he can also play on the left wing, I'm pretty sure as well. He's played there a few times, so we might see him out there on the left hand side as well. But he's going to be more dominant in one of those number 8 positions. I really do feel like he will overtake Dominic Szoboszlai in that sort of number 8 role. It's a little bit unfortunate for him to sort of get replaced after having a half decent season for Liverpool. Obviously, a good few goals and assists in there as well, hasn't he? Dominic Szoboszlai, and he's sort of starting to find his form in the Premier League. When he first signed, the first season wasn't as impressive as a lot of people were expecting, but in that second season, he was starting to run right in the league, and he was starting to score some half decent goals, some free kicks here and there. But I really do feel like Florian Wirtz, you know, he's gonna overtake him. You're not gonna sign a player for 134 million and not play him in that number 8 role where he's most efficient, where he's most effective. And I really do feel like Mohamed Salah is going to really benefit from his through balls, from his decisive passing, from his 1-2s here and there and that sort of stuff. And I really do feel like other players like Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, Hugo Ekitike, if he signs, I really do feel like those sort of players are going to benefit from his attacking flair in that midfield. Anyways, okay, those are the 4 players they've officially signed, and obviously they've also signed 2 other players in the likes of Army Pesky and Freddie Woodman, but they're sort of like backup rotation options. They're not going to be starting in that Liverpool 11, aren't they? Pretty much so far, anyways. So we're going to move on now to the 5th player that they're going to potentially sign. The 5th player that they're linked with at the moment, and they've agreed a deal for this player, and that is Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, and they've officially agreed a £69 million deal to sign the French forward. And for me, I think this is a fantastic signing. There's no denying it. He's scored 22 goals and got 12 assists in the Bundesliga last season for Frankfurt. He's amazing, honestly he is. He's got the height, he's got the power, he's got the speed, he's got the clinicalness in front of goal. Is clinicalness even a word? I couldn't even tell you, okay? But Hugo Ekitike is brilliant. He's a clinical finisher. That's what I was trying to say, okay? And I really do feel like he's the missing jigsaw in that front three for Liverpool, okay? Obviously, you've got Mohamed Salah, who's the main goal threat in front of goal. Obviously, if Hugo Ekitike comes in and scores, I want to say 15 goals and gets 7 assists, something like that, that is a fantastic season, because you're not going to outscore Mohamed Salah in that front three, okay? Everything is still going to be run through him, but if you can get a goal scorer in that number 9 position that scores 10 to 15 goals in a season, it's absolutely fantastic, because that'll be more than Darwin Núñez over recent seasons. Darwin Núñez just hasn't been able to fill that role of Roberto Firmino a few seasons ago, where he was assisting Mohamed Salah. He was sort of the backup to Mohamed Salah in that sort of sense, where trying to find Mohamed Salah, trying to get Mohamed Salah to score goals rather than score yourself, if that makes sort of sense, you know what I mean? That sort of Roberto Firmino sort of false 9 position. And I really do feel like Hugo Ekitike can fill that role as well, can fill that void, can fill that false 9 void, if you like, because obviously he can score goals, but he can also assist. He's got 12 assists last season. So for me, I do really feel like this is a fantastic signing for Liverpool. Obviously, he was linked to Newcastle, and it was pretty much guaranteed that he was going to join Eddie Howe's Newcastle. But at the last minute, Liverpool swooped in and took that deal over the line, and it very much looks like Liverpool are going to get the signature for the French striker Hugo Ekitike. Obviously, I haven't watched him that much in the Bundesliga, but obviously watching him in the Europa League, Champions League, all this sort of stuff, he has impressed me. He honestly has, and obviously he broke through at the likes of getting a big move at PSG, but it just didn't really work out. Went on loan a few times, obviously joined Frankfurt permanently, and now after 1 or 2 seasons there, he's proved what he's worth, and he's got his big move to Liverpool. Obviously, by the time we're recording, it's been agreed. It has been agreed, but it just hasn't been announced yet. So I feel like once the video actually does get released, I feel like the transfer will be confirmed and all this sort of stuff. So hopefully, Hugo Ekitike will sign for Liverpool and everything will be agreed. And I won't be silly describing why Hugo Ekitike will be such a success for Liverpool. Otherwise, I might look a bit stupid, but I probably won't be anyways, because I'm pretty sure Newcastle probably won't come back in for him. Either way, I feel like when you talk about Liverpool's attacking options, right, their front four is absolutely brilliant now. They've got a front four comprising of Mohamed Salah, Flivian Wirtz, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Dominic Szoboszlai, can't pronounce his name, Curtis Jones, Cody Gakpo, Federico Chesky, hopefully I've said these names right, and then they're potentially signing Hugo Ekitike and Rodri as well from Real Madrid, the Brazilian left winger. I'm not going to mention Rodri in this video just because I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like that's only going to happen if one of Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz leaves, because those two are potentially the two out the door at the moment. Darwin Núñez, of course, he's been linked away with a move just because I don't know how much game time he's going to get if Hugo Ekitike comes in, okay? I feel like he's going to be the starting striker for Liverpool next season. I feel like Darwin Núñez just needs a fresh start away from the Premier League, doesn't he? Because he's just, for whatever reason, he's just not been able to fit into the Premier League. He just doesn't suit how Liverpool want to play. He's had a season under Klopp, he's had a season under Arne Slot now, and both managers just don't really rate him highly enough to keep him as that starting number 9. He could potentially be a backup, but at the same time, would he like that? Probably not. And then also, Luis Diaz could also follow suit as well, because he's been linked to the likes of Bayern Munich, and maybe he might get a move to the Bundesliga, who knows. Obviously, if they're bringing in the likes of Flivian Wirtz, if they're bringing in all these types of players, Hugo Ekitike, maybe he might play on the left as well, we don't know. It does look very likely that Luis Diaz might leave, just because, you know, he's been a good player for Liverpool, he's been a good servant, I'm not saying that, but maybe this might be a little bit harsh in saying it. I just don't know whether he's done enough at his time at Liverpool to sort of make him a starter. Don't get me wrong, he will be a starter in the short term, but I feel like there's been rumours where like Anthony Gordon's been linked to Liverpool. There's been rumours of Rodrigo being linked to Liverpool. So I just don't know how long Luis Diaz has got left in that Liverpool side. He has been a good servant. He's been a good player for Liverpool. He's done some decent stuff. There's been some good memories there. But when I think about like Sadio Mane, has he sort of lived up to those high expectations of a Sadio Mane? Has he been better than a Sadio Mane? For me, he just hasn't. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. I don't know. Luis Diaz, he's had a few moments here and there. I can't really think of any standout moments for me, and maybe that's my fault. I don't know. But when I think about other players in that Liverpool side, I really do feel like he might just leave, because I feel like they've got enough there to live without a Luis Diaz. Maybe that's just me. Obviously, Liverpool splashed out almost 300 million on transfers this season alone, okay? And that's pretty much done. They've pretty much done their best to guarantee themselves another Premier League title over the line. Obviously, they've won 20 Premier Leagues in total, okay? So they're looking to get their 21st Premier League next season, and I really do feel like they've done everything in their power to get that over the line. Of course, Man City have done business. Of course, Arsenal are doing business. But when you think about the players that Liverpool have signed, they've signed every player they've needed in each position, and they've got, I want to say, 4 or 5 guaranteed starters to come in and replace and challenge all their starters at the moment from their players last season, okay? When you think about Liverpool last season, they were one of the best teams in the league. That's why they won the Premier League. And they've gone out and signed 4 or 5 new players. What on earth are they doing? I really do put them in contention again to win consecutive Premier League titles, I honestly do, just because some of their signings are so exciting. Again, for me, it is just those 2 fullbacks that I'm a little bit scared of. I just don't know whether or not they're going to get too many counter-attacks on those fullbacks. I'm a little bit sceptical about how their defence is going to play. I don't know whether the midfielders can cover them enough times. We just don't know. We don't know whether one will sit, one will go forward. We don't know whether, just thinking those big games, Liverpool can get caught out. But we'll just have to wait and see, obviously. Now, we're going to end the video with some questions, okay? How do you feel about Liverpool's 4 marquee signings, okay? Obviously, they've signed 6 players in total, but 2 of them are, squad options and whatnot. But how did you feel about their 4 marquee signings? How did you feel about Jeremy Frimpong? How do you feel about Kirkes? Do you feel like they're 2 attacking fullbacks? Do you feel like they will get caught out in the counter-attack, or am I worrying for no reason? How would you feel about Flivian Wirtz? Obviously, he's the record signing in the Premier League. Do you feel like he will adapt to that Liverpool side? How do you feel about Hugo Ekitike signing for Liverpool? Do you think he's the perfect number 9 to come in and make Liverpool what they need exactly? They need a goal scorer, don't they? They need someone to get 10 to 15 goals. They need another false 9 to, replicate what Roberto Firmino did a few seasons ago and all this sort of good stuff. Do you reckon Hugo Ekitike is a perfect man to do the job? And yeah, that's where I want to end the video, okay? But before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it will go a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. And I just want to say again, a massive thank you for recently hitting 122 subscribers. I just can't believe it. Thank you so much. It's a dream come true. I say this at the end of every video, okay? But honestly, I'm just amazed. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and see you guys later. Peace out.